Alright, today on the Yellow Jeep project we are going to install these Smittybilt steel fenders. Let's get to it. Alright, so first of all, here's what comes in the package. I've got the two fenders here. There's one for the driver's side, one for the passenger side. It came with a set of instructions and the stainless steel hardware. And that is basically what you get. It's a pretty simple setup, so we will begin the process. Alright, step one here is we're going to have to remove the fenders. Now, I'm not running stock fenders, but these are just plastic 6-inch flare flat fenders. They've worked pretty well, but you know, they're plastic, and like happens up here in the front, this can happen, and it's not as easy to repair. So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of these. We're gonna start today with the rear. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take off all of these screws. It's a little tricky getting up underneath here under this wheel well cover, but to get some of these bolts off. But it's not too bad, so we'll give it a go now and take these fenders off. All right, the fender's off. A couple things to note. This hole here and these two holes over here, those are actually threaded, so when you put your screws in on the fenders, you don't have a nut behind them, so when you're trying to take them off, you can just screw them out. But all the other holes up here, usually there's a nut on the back side, so you have to try to get that out, and that's where it gets a little tricky. But just keep an eye on that when you're trying to get those off. You can pull on the fender as you're unscrewing it to try to keep it threaded, but that's just something to note as you're taking your fenders off. Okay, got our hardware here. This is going to be the hardware for this side of the Jeep. They're all stainless steel, which is super nice, and they're nylon nuts, so they won't come loose. I had a few that were loose when I was taking the fenders off. I found a couple that were a little loose, but those are ready to go. So we got two washers and a nut and a bolt for each side. They're Allen head bolts, and it came with a tool. Now, what we're going to end up doing here, the fender essentially sits. It's going to bolt here with these holes right here. Okay. Now we are going to need to drill those out to be with a 1/4-inch bit, and then we will go ahead and set our fender up there. And I'm going to first double check alignment to make sure they're all lined up, and then we will go ahead and start the drilling and get our fender hung up here. So let's see what's next. Alright, so I got the two bolts at least on there, so it won't move. I'll go ahead and put the rest of the bolts on, get it all adjusted, and then we will take a look at the finished product. Alright, for reference, this was the hole I was intending on using right here. However, there's no way to access that to put the bolt behind it because it's actually inside the tub. So I went ahead and drilled another hole right here, and I'll go ahead and fill that up with some silicone to kind of protect water from getting down in there inside the tub. But other than that, put one right there, so we are mounted up and ready to go. So now we got to finish the other side, and then we'll have a finished product. Alright, so here's our finished product. I went ahead and added one more bolt down here. Since I had an extra bit of hardware, because this is a TJ, I went ahead and just added this one down here, drilled through. And this is where I had to add the other one, and I'll fill that in with some silicone. But other than that, they look pretty good. You can tell, one thing you can tell for sure is right here where my body's taken a hit, and I got a gap there, so I'm not quite sure what I'll do with that yet. I'll have to think about that. But as a whole, I think they look pretty good. For being inexpensive, you know, one of the bummers is they don't quite match up with these rock sliders, so I'll either have to take a piece of steel, fit it in here maybe, and you know, bolt it on or something like that. I haven't quite figured out what I'm gonna do there. I guess, like, in theory, I could probably slide this back too a little bit. We'll see. When I work on the front fenders, I'll probably figure that one out too. So, well, let's go around to this side real quick. So you can see the other side right here. Came out pretty good, a little bit better right there in the back. But as a whole, I got to say I'm pretty happy with them. So can't beat the price. You can't beat the. I think just they're solid, and they should do pretty well out of the rock. So we'll have to go scratch them up here soon. So anyway, thanks for watching the Yellow Jeep project, and please subscribe if you want to see some more videos. And you guys have a great one.